Hello there. Hello, we're live. I'm live. This is Tradespotting. Welcome to the show. We're a little bit before market open. Here's the charts. There are some charts that are open. Bitcoin is dropping here. 15-minute time frame. Here's the CME futures real-time data because I decided to be less gaffy and actually update it. So as you can see, we've got up to the minute data on the CMEs, which is very few people have that, which is funny, right? So here we have it. Boom. Interesting. I have it on the very second. Rocky will like that I got that. And get this, excuse-moi. Don't need all these indicators on the screen. Confusing. As you can see, we've got a number of charts up here. 8 to be exact. Top left, we have SPY. So far doing pretty much what we expected. 408.32. Pre-market is 403.86. So 1% down from its 2% rise yesterday in pre-market. Here we have VIX. We spoke about how the volatility would likely be increasing to the downside. There would be less and less volatility, pardon me. Then, Bitcoin, 15 minutes candle coming in from its previous low across here. If we were to take out indicators, you can see price action been rolling over a little bit. 50 simple coming towards the 200 period, and then the CMEs, the future chart, it's what really leads the market. You can see it's slightly lower than the body close previous lows. Then obviously we've got GME, $100 but 38 cents, up 9.35% yesterday towards the close, and then pre-market down 3.69% at 96.69 currently. Here you have it with the yesterday's prices and this little orange line, that's pre-market. Of course, here you have AMC 1290, 1283 at the pre-market. Not all that desperate. I expect if GME's lower, then AMC will have a rough start too. And then down here we have Take Two Interactive, which will be made an incredible call on the channel with this recently. Then their earnings came out and, well, this great increase there, 20% overnight. So if you did take any of these trades we was looking at, then you're laughing your face off there. Right, laughing your face off. Great move. If you could make it back above these levels, there's a flash up around 131 and then another up around 154. And by that stage, you'll be up approximately 50% on spot trades over there. And then here we have PayPal, which again pushing to the top side, 79.73 flash there. It's at 79.75 close yesterday, 78.40 pre-market. So interesting. We'll see how that goes. Flash to the top side if it opens down with a tiny gap up. Interesting. And a lot of that will depend on NASDAQ and whatnot. And a lot of that will be about whether, how everybody reacts to the fact that Jerome's come out again and said, we're going to keep doing it. We don't mind. It might be percentage point increases and we're going to keep doing it and it's going to be relentless and nothing's going to stop us. And it's like, aye, right, Jerome. Talk a big game, don't you, Jerome? Anyway, so we'll see how things go. JP. So up here, downward sloping resistance, was expecting SPY to do something interesting. If it breaks above these levels, which would be great, right? Could go all the way up here, all the way up crazy levels. We'll just put it, just this one dude on his own for a second. And talk about how, wouldn't it be fantastic if you break this downward sloping resistance, your only horizontal level to look to is around 430, and if you break above that, you go to the golden pocket, which is 440, and that's a crucial level for SPY. If you get above there, you go back up to 470 or thereabouts. There's Coco running around. How you doing, Coco? How you doing? So yeah, that's all predicated on the idea that it breaks to the top side. If it doesn't, we've got this ABCD pattern, which comes in very, very, very reliable entry PRC around about 370, which would be fantastic, I think. And so if you're managing your overall portfolio with some sort of hedge across SPY, then you'd be looking at this important level here. You're able to manage, this is like good zone because you can manage trades going either direction with stop losses past the pivot point and the breakout zone. And perhaps if you're waiting for a retest, you can make your position even safer. And then you'd have really low risk and potential cover either side. It seems pretty good to me, right? That's the way I like these things. It's really good when you're doing this sort of thing with Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin's also similar, right? Here on the futures chart, because why not, right? Like show off. Bitcoin's really good because like it's got a very highly volatile market and it's highly leveraged. And so if something doesn't work out, like for example, an inverted head and shoulders didn't work out, it quite often just does the opposite move. And then you'll be able to tell because there usually does these things in around important inflection points on the chart where you'll see like formations that speak to like tightening of price action. And then when it breaks, right, you can nearly, you know, Bitcoin's brilliant because if you admit to yourself you're wrong quick enough, you can, it's one of those ones where not go in the direction you want, it often does present the opportunity in the other direction. And so it's, you don't even have to be good at it, right? That's the truth. Whoa, new animated logo as a mesmerite. Yes, on. Forgot to say that. I just got distracted by other things. Mighty Red. Shout out to Mighty Red with this crazy logo. What is going on with Tether? Bunsen burner. Probably nothing in particular. Why? Seems fine. Nothing's going on with it. I mean, sure, there's stories about like, oh, what is this and what is the next thing and how come a yada blah blah. Here we are, daily time frame. Is this it? 82.78. Is this it? Is this what we're talking about? Nah, that was a number of days ago, was it? Nothing. It's all fine. Look at that. Brilliant. Probably an opportunity. This is the market cap in Tether, right? Which, so people putting money into Bitcoin. What are we looking at? I mean, what is it you want to hear about? It had a dip from a peg is what people think. It had a dip from a peg. Jamie, howdy doody. Hope you're good at it. Well, the market cap didn't drop all that much. Well, I mean, I suppose it did in terms of billions, but like the trend didn't change or nothing, and it's had dips before. The RSI dropped down there. Still managed to arrest its decline fairly quickly. Where do we check the Tether or what? Coinbase. Check this chart. Oh, there we have it. Right, cool. Interesting. So it dropped from 1 to 0.94, which was an excellent opportunity because, you know, it's supposed to be pegged, so it's essentially free money, like it has been back here. Right? There's a number of people that have done this sort of thing. I know a guy who knows a very rich billionaire in Asia who was waiting for these sort of things and has done it twice so far and probably did it again. And as soon as it drops, he pegs it back. You know, again here he did it, probably did it there. I'm sure he's taking great advantage now, and loads of people do. And Tether's fine, right? I know all the stories about the mafia and this, that, and the next thing. It's like, you know, sure, maybe they did fake it till they make it, but, you know, they made it. 15 minutes, what are we saying? 9997, there's a flash. You know, you could play that around if you had the leverage and the margin. But you'd obviously need to be able to knock it about too. So I don't know, 7 billion withdrawn from Tether in 24 hours. Okay, it's quite a lot. It's not... Well, I mean, it's quite a lot. We looked at the market cap there, so it took it down like a tiny wee knock on the chart. But in terms of Tether's price itself, it seems to have recovered. I'm not right into the whole Tether conspiracy. I mean, I know all about it, and I just don't think it's the same, on the same level of nefarious activity as you would see with Luna, Terra Luna, and whatnot. I know, like, yeah, you know, it's like it's a fundamental part of the system now. There's that drop. I mean, I suppose like it looks dramatic because of this, but it's a stable coin, so really that's not very much, you know, in terms of a percentage, despite looking very dramatic. 6%, which is all right considering like if we've got actual Bitcoin. You know, it's just huge moves all the time, isn't it? Like, what was this recovery there? It was 23%, eh? And like, nobody's screaming like, oh my God, Bitcoin's taking over the world again. You know, whatever. So you've read, it's interesting, but I actually don't know anything about this other stuff. Well, essentially the people set up, you know, it was it was developed on an exchange, and it's said to be, you know, they'd only sell any of it when people had deposited actual US dollars, and therefore it would be backed 1-to-1. But it's debatable whether that was happening in its first instance. But the way the mechanism of all these things work is after a certain amount of time, you know, you can just chuck it all together and it looks like it works. And as long as there's a big enough amount of liquidity there compared to the amount of use it's getting, then you'll be able to pull the wool over everyone's eyes, and then you're all sorted. Can we look at Royce? You can. Got cheap high. Got cheap. Well, not particularly. I mean, I don't know if it's it's definitely at the long side of this trend, right? And you buy at support rather than resistance. Yes. We came to these lows. We put in bullish divergence. We expected to come back up to resistance. We defined that as being a 236 at this stage. We thought you'd likely find some issues. There was, because there was continuation divergence on the top side and then a retracement. When you break the 236, we expected to find support at the 618 or the 886. Came in at the 618 so far. Bounce back up 382. If you can continue past this 236, then I'd likely see price action test at 1.11. If it gets there, I'll aim at the golden pocket, and if it doesn't reach it, it'll stop by filling this gap and hitting 200 period moving average at 120, which would be interesting. And then you can see there's this downward sloping diagonal which comes across the top of these three, touches on price action, and to make it back above that 236 at this stage would be breaking that downward sloping trend. Then you may be perhaps looking at something on 4 hour with this channel, retest at the top side of that and go towards that 200 in this golden pocket, and that'd be up like getting your 120, 1.20. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And Ricey, poof, that was quick, wasn't it? Bitcoin, you know, struggle street on Bitcoin land. Struggle street. Well, interesting though, that knock on Tether. Interesting question. Mysterious backing, yes. So there's mysterious backers. A lot of people, or the chaps that were involved in starting it, that run the exchange. I mean, they're dodgy as it is. But, you know, whatever. And then apparently ties to the mafia and whatnot. And but then, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but like, let's be realistic, right? Where did you want a lot of money? Where are you going to get it from? Someone good? Ricey got cheap, Can we look at it today? Wow, we got that Corey Bing Bong. How wild flying, aren't we? What do you think of FTRP? Says Gabriel. Hello, Gabriel. How are you doing? FTRP. Field Trip Health. What do I think of it? I think it's been the 4 hour time frame. It's only been around for a while. Since it started, it's been down. So, I mean, it's not me that thinks anything about it. It's just, and generally its RSI is being below the center line, and MACD says it's a piece of shit. So it's not what I think about it, right? I don't have thoughts about it, but this chart is communicating to all of us that it's a piece of shit. So that's what I can interpret it, because I'm a chart whisperer. I can pass that message on if you don't catch it. We're going to the daily time frame. See, everything's in the permanent, ugh. We'll go to log chart, stretch it back out and see what's actually happening here. Why am I getting more data on a daily time frame than it was on 4 hour? Sometimes this does this. And then it makes me look stupid. It's not a permanent downtrend. It went up for a wee while. Anyway, lots of volume at this stage. Trend didn't change. You broke through your previous level of support there as that volume came in, which is nasty. And then price action come back up to test that level again. So we'll see more about it. Daily time frame, getting everything you need on the charts, really. 2 Fibonacci's, 236, golden pocket. You didn't find much support around the golden pocket. You didn't find much resistance to the 886. This was so brutal. And then you didn't get anything at the 1.13. And sure, right, so like this thing rolled over. It decided, right, I've got continuation divergence at this stage here. I'm going to keep falling down, and I'm going to go from here all the way through the 236 to the first extension on the downside to the 1618. That's ridiculous, right? That's a really, really, really strong move from 18th of October 21. Why was it so bad, right? I would expect this is some sort of fundamental news-based problem. You also had your 50 simple death cross of the 200 period moving average, and wow, does that make the death cross strategy look good? Isn't normally as good as that. Anyway, so the downside from this high, and we'll take it from the wick high there to your low so far, 236 recovery comes in at 1.245. If you make it, you could go back up and test that 200 period moving average. That would be extreme retracement. 618 between both of these Fibonacci's matches up. So getting back above that level would be very significant and perhaps very difficult. I wouldn't expect to do it on the first pass. And then drop down to 4-hour time frame, you're going to get above your 236 before you go anywhere, which happens to be above your your 50 simple period moving average. 200's just shown up and you've not tested it since it's been around. You could get there and not defeat market structure. So if TRP could go back to 1.635 without defeating any of those things, if it had enough positivity on the go at the time, you can see there's bullish divergence between these two lows. So you make it back above that 236, you could try all the way up to 3. And where would I measure it from? Well, a couple of different areas. Take it from that most recent high first. You're back above this 236. Golden pocket comes in at the same level as here. From the breakdown zone, take it the previous peak, and then I'll take it this reaction. 236 golden pocket, 0.5 retracement. So I don't think that's relevant. Saints are already through a bit of it. And this one comes in line with the golden pocket at the 236 from the larger dominant fib. So we'll just delete it and say that the definitive level for this to get back above is like 1.25. So a significant percentage chunk on top of where it is at the minute. It's very possible it could get there because on this 4-hour time frame, you've got this downward slope and resistance, 1, 2, 3 touches. This is a real line. So, aim towards the 50 simple anyway. 1.11111 might be somewhere you would wonder afterwards what's going to do. There's little gaps on these 4-hour time frames, not all that liquid. Price action below the 50% center line RSI, not particularly a huge fan. You've got a cross here, but that likely only takes you to the top side of the trend, and even then there's nothing divergent to set with it, and the volatility isn't particularly high despite the fact that you're at crazy lows, right? Because much more of it you could buy here. When it was 6.6, your bang for your buck went a lot less distance than it did when it was 0.7, and as such you would expect greater volatility should the same market participants be involved, and there isn't, so they might not be. Plus it's below a previous low and this volume candle came in, so it's like get out of town. And this is awful, and this needs to break above 236. Otherwise, like I was saying, the 4-hour makes it look brutal. Daily chart gives you some positive history on this thing, but like that peaked in around 10th February 2021, and in this chart tells me it'd been around for a while beforehand trying to do things. Positive news, but not so much anymore. I don't know if I've got anything with regards to corporate actions or splits or that, whatever they might have been up to in the meantime, but I can tell you that the chart doesn't suggest anything positive has happened until now. This bullish divergence on these lows on the daily time frame. In order for that to be like really significant, it needs to break the downward slope and resistance, which you might only expect it to retrace back up to the 236 or the 50 simple, and all of that comes in exactly the same place. 1.2, 1.11 would be low risk, take your profit, and then from an entry, it was this 1618, and apart from that, you've not really got much. You're on the 80 exponential. If you trade moving averages, maybe that's one. You've got a candlestick entry, go for it. But I don't, there's nothing jumping out at me about an entry, and therefore it kind of negates most of the possible trades. But I can tell you where I'd get the frickin' hell out of it should I be there, and it's there. 1.25 if you're super lucky. Gabriel, hope that helped something somehow. Psychedelics-based medical company. This one probably stalling on legislation. Well, probably what they're doing is that they've got this viral marketing suggestion that comes with their business purposes, which has happened with this thing, like I could tell you, like scores of dozens of times. And they come along and they're like, oh, I got this thing and it's going to solve people's these problems that are like actually like strongly held up by regulation and cultural perceptions about drugs and so on. And like people's need to be given something administered medicine by someone in a white jacket and with a degree and whatnot. So they only trust that sort of thing, and medical insurance as well, right? It's big money, and they're hand in hand with pharmaceutical companies, and they don't have like a good grasp over these new medicines. So there's no reason why they would want to change the law, and they're the ones that lobby and make it happen. So what they do is they set up a company that's got like a really viral like idea that they themselves know is never going to happen, and they raise loads and loads of money as the price goes up, and then they sell their own shares. And then they do stock splits all the way down, buying it at lows, and again selling their own shares when it's at peaks. And then they do something like this to it and destroy their own company. And then they're selling it at lower than it was ever originally bought for. And the only people who have shares that can afford to do that sort of thing and still make money are the people who are original founders. They do it even more, it force it even cheaper. And they screw over everybody. mostly well-meaning people who like have out of hope on all these other medicines that might have done them some favor, and they play on like people's fear of death and whatnot, and that adds again to like the viral side of their activity, and they know that it's true and they do nothing to discourage it, and I find it very unethical. And that, you know, then when one of these companies that have got like solve something problem, I know all about this fucking stories, like, yeah, MDMA can stop you from being depressed. You're right that people say that, and there's documented evidence out there to say it works. Don't take my word for it, go look for yourself. And then there's the same thing to be said that, you know, psychedelics and mushrooms and that, they can cure you from all your brain psychology and physiology and cause you to be less depressed and can cause massive breakthroughs, and that's all wonderful, right? But when a company actually does something, instead of like distributing all over the face of its investors that's involved in these sort of things, and instead actually gets off their fucking arse and does something, then yeah, well, all fair play to them, more power to them. Until then, they can all fuck off, every single one of them, and I'm not fucking interested, because there's actual things to trade that will actually make you money. And that's what I think about anything that's involved in any of that shite ever. And so, what do I really think? Like, yeah, tell me what you really think, Tradespotting. But I hope that was some help on the charts. That's what I think. That's what I think. Shrooms are good, says Crackrock. I can't possibly comment. So, because, you know, war and drugs and whatnot. What's that all about too? You know, like, for example, most of this audience, yous are American, and yous have got like legalized cannabis and are able to provide things for your populations that help people, because that's important, right? Like severe brain conditions in young children that are able to be treated with cannabis products. And you are able to do that because you can legalize cannabis. But the rest of the world that subscribes to your military alliance, your defensive pacts that are all part of the UN and that all subscribe to these laws, they're not allowed to, because it's part of the war on drugs, which is like a fundamental tenet of this international institution, which you yourselves undermine and take advantage of in order to make a buck and increase your tax revenue. And then you're doing it all while banning the rest of the world from being able to, so that you can then capture this global market in advance. That's anti-competitive. It's not going to work. Your companies that run the cannabis industry in America and not the whole of North America are run by fucking amateurs. It's like, honestly, the whole industry is a massive fucking joke, right? Bob next door does it better. That's the fucking truth. And the margins are fucking huge, and they still can't manage it. Plus, the whole industry is like, nah, fuck you and your financing. Like, you know, exactly, you know, we've got our hand in these other pies and whatnot, and most of them are pharmaceutical and so on. So, you know, the whole thing's a massive fucking scam. And, but, you know, not criticizing Americans. I'm just saying, like, this is the way the system works, right? Power speaks truth to power. And unfortunately, that's the way it happens all the time. We don't have enough power. Anonymous. Hello, sir, Mrs. Anonymous. Can you please take a moment to explain what it means when the ADX is so far extended past the D minus DI and the plus DI? Please see villains on 1 hour. Thanks. Well, I mean, everything can mean all sorts of different things. That was Anonymous with 690. Thank you very much. So VLNs. Villains. Here we are, villains. Positive reaction at this stage. Drop below long-term 236. Reaction here. Resistance. Downward trend continue. Negative formation. Displacement. Further extensions. Hit. Horrible death cross. This looks very similar to the death of that other one. Sure, what does it matter, right? Nobody cares what I say, and I do say stuff, people just unsubscribe into that, and then people are like, he's anti-American. It's like, oh, that's not fucking true, but whatever. Anyway, sometimes it's a subtle argument, really. It's a subtle argument. And truth is, it's our own politicians are a bunch of shite bags that can't fucking do anything. It's not like we can blame on America, especially over here, Britain, right? They're massive shite bags. Like yesterday, one of the MPs, right, who's like the guy you elect. It's a very democratic system too over here. You know, it's exclusionary democracy, but he's elected. He's a Tory MP. He's been arrested for rape, like multiple rapes, like over what, a 10-year period. And he's been an MP like the whole time, raping people all the time. It's fucking, and I can't even say that word on YouTube because I'll get fucking screwed. And the sentence afterwards is just put me in loads of trouble. And that's why I get no money on advertising fees. But it's like messed up, right? Everything's messed up. Everything's messed up and nobody says it because everyone's too concerned with like whether they've got, you know, I know the feeling like, did I have enough cat food in or what? You know, it's like, it's messed up shit. So villains, anyway, please don't hate me, YouTube. The question is about the DMI. Okay, the DMI. The ADX is so which you're Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, so I don't know which DMI you're using, right? And you won't be using Rocky Outcross DMI probably because he's not giving it out to anyone anymore. So you'll be using the normal DMI, I imagine. DMI. You don't have this one. It's amazing. This is amazing, and you don't have it. So you're talking about this one. Ugh, this is horrible. And what are our details on this one? ADX is red. And here's the DI minus and the DI positive, and the so far extended. Well, I mean, the ADX will strengthen when the distance increases, the disparity increases between the open close. So like here you had like a distinct departure from the trend and huge volume on the candle. So like you get an extension on the ADX. And then, so it doesn't matter if like the direction of the DI minus or the DI positive, like it doesn't really matter with regards to the strength of the ADX. So if you get like a really strong downward trend, which is replaced immediately with like a very strong upward reaction, your ADX will continue. But like your DI positive, DI minus in this stage, which would have been in ascendancy, it'll take a dramatic downturn. The DI positive, it'll take a positive upturn. But both of them could be significantly further away from price action than you might imagine. I mean, sure, the DI minus, it'll have been following it up as price action fell down, which pushed the DI positive away, pushed it away. And then like the next trend was also strong, you know, and there was not much slowing of it, and then strong. So like the ADX got a tiny little bit of a chance to slow down like here, but because it didn't trend, it never went anywhere, and it was still a continuation, so it's still adding on, and it, like that's the way it calculates, it adds on, and then here you had to change. So like at this stage your DI positive was miles away, and it pushed the DI minus further away, so that gave greater disparity between the two, and it speaks to volatility and like other information with regards to support and resistance and likely pushes towards places. I mean, that's not speaking to its implications from it. I was so excited about today's show. The like button hit me. All right. Great. Great. What time is it? It's 22 minutes past 2, and we've already had a number of rants. It's good. We need to try being a change. We love you. Thanks, Gabriel. Excellent. Well, we love each other. That's why we're not listening to this shit anymore, isn't it? Right? I mean, it's just a fucking embarrassment. It is, eh? Like, you know, I don't want to directly blame the previous generation, right? Because like that's not attractive, and I don't like it when they give me shit, right? Because they don't understand, Al. Anyway, and I'm not going to blame my parents because I know and I saw them directly try and fight power plenty of times. Both of them big hippie idiots when they were younger. So yeah, I understand. I'm not going to try and blame them or whatever, but you could have done more, eh? You know, you could have done more. And like their parents, they definitely could have done more. And their parents before them, like they weren't actually pulling the finger out at all. It was a bit of a joke. So, I mean, it's kind of on us because otherwise we'll just be a bunch of useless, globular, jello-like fandans that just fuck around doing shit all living for rich people, right? Would just be like the fucking fodder. You know, poor people are basically nowadays porridge for the rich, right? They just exist in order to like keep the system taken over so that they can keep skimming off the top extreme amounts. And you see how much is directly correlated with the increase in inflation. If you don't believe me, you can look up why they came up with the economic system that we fucking have in the first place. You can look shit up. It's mental. Look it all up on the internet and whatnot. Anyway, what we're talking about, yeah, I mean, everyone's been fucking, it's like it's bred into us, man. It's bred into us to just sit there and take shit. It's been bred into you. So if you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, fair play to you, right? Because that was born there. That was part of what you are as a fucking being. This sitting around taking it shit, fuck that. Anyway, when are markets open? 6 minutes. Right, so that's the question, Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous. 690, very generous donation, thank you very much. And the question about the villains was about ADX and DMI and why it can continue while your other two aspects of the indicator can go down, because you might think of it like this, like, well, which trend's strengthening, and you want to see like, and I understand you think the ADX is a simplification of these other two lines, or some aggregate, as most indicators would work, and get, or like a signal line, like say way the MACD works, or the moving average on RSI, but that's not it. It's a different calculation, and it was meant by, J.J. Wilder Jr., he invented this and he used it alongside this. So they don't work the same way, or he wouldn't have done that, would he? Hello, Brendan. Everyone should have a price, observe yourself for it. Everyone does have, don't they? I thought everyone did have. It's the American TV shows, and it's like, well, everyone's got a price. Unless they're like a rich evil person, they've got a black Mercedes. That's how they do it. Unless it's Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, in which case there's like cool cars and to use the thing. Apart from that, it's just prices and Mercedes everywhere. Hey. Anyway, I don't know. What do I know? I just watch TV very, very infrequently, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't forget to hit like and go after them tadpoles. Fucking tadpoles. Love the tadpoles, but really, you know what they like, right? They're screwing us as well. There's the very simple. I mean, us, it depends what tribe are you in. There's the 3.4, there's the 50 simple there at 1.27. Villainous is like, if it did have a huge move, but there is reasons why it could do certain things. But let's see, right, by deleting everything, and now that we're on here, we'll have a quick look before the markets open on villains. Evil villains, the Valence Company, process industries, agriculture, commodities, milling. Right. So, why would something in that facilitates a market which itself is going up double-digit percentage points every month at the minute? Why would facilities within that sector be being hammered so much, so consistently for so long, while all of those things are going on? Is that margins? What's going on with this? What's going on with Valence? Anyway, so this is your I thought I deleted the drawings. I must have just hidden them. Now they're deleted for sure. Buy drawings. Actually. So they were quite good. I mean, we had enough of drawings that was telling us something. Let's just leave them on. Let's leave them on and not go crazy, Tradespotter. This was this one. We already had that Fibonacci, get out of my face. And then this most recent one, we can work with you guys, get out of my faces. Okay, so the peak from here, take price action down to the low, your 236, you've reached it here. This is likely resistance in the short term. If you do break it, go aim for the golden pocket at 1.5. That's nearly 100% on price action. It's gone up 30% so far, so you're asking for a lot if you're trading it from here. Personally, I wouldn't be able to jump in on this. Though I see you've gone back above the bearish control zone. If you make it above the center line, then you will be hitting that golden pocket. Very simple. And then it's only a hop, skip, and a jump up to this 236. But is that real? No, because the price action went down subsequently, and now we've just got the same. Again, is this from this high, whereas this is from these peaks within this formation here. So the 236 reaches in around 1.28. I'd see that would be resistance. You would expect that to be resistance, horizontal level where you previously once looked to test it. And then I'd probably take the take profit target there at 1.2, and that's obviously a huge percentage move again. Now, like I say, you can't enter it now because it's already made most of the move. ADX is very strong, but like both of these give you like reasons to be doubtful. Like the DI positive is coming from so low and has not been trending really at all. The DI minus is like pushing severely to the downside, so you obviously aren't able to use that as validation for a short position. And then if you were looking at this as a downward sloping diagonal on daily time frame, perfectly entitled to do so. You've got a number of touches and it looks like you've already come close to reaching resistance there. So this is resistance, and then stretch it out. That was a huge move in one day. Volatility may continue. If not, and you're within your previous range, then I'd look from this low to this high, and you'd blow 236 to date, not 0.8158. If you break below that today, then this might look like dodgy, and the golden pocket retracement would then make this previous candle look like just a reaction and a normal oscillation within a continuation of a downtrend, that being a potential downward sloping broadening wedge. If we have that as a channel, this was the implied move from within it, that's the subsequent resistance. Take that to the downside, that, and you've done some more. You went for the extension, And the rock stars going live for market open. Good to see it, right? And I'm going to drop back over to GME. Quick look at that, and then we're going to check in with Rocky. Like right on the Rocky show. If anybody, there's Rocky. Rocky, share your link to your show in here so I can pin it to the top and do a like rave. A like rave. We're doing a fucking like rave. Yes! Like raves. Here I am, upgrading YouTube culture all on my own. It's a like rave. I don't do like raids anymore. It's like raves. That's up on the peninsula that sticks way out into Lake Superior, creates its own storms. Holy shit, where three oceans meet. What are you talking about, Trace? But I have no idea what geography is this. What geography is this? It's a geography boss. Well, who made the snake? It's pretty awesome. Oh, it was mighty red. It is pretty awesome. I don't see it on my screen, so you guys are so lucky I don't get to see it. Like rave. Yeah, exactly. Rave time. Fucking right. Pardon me. Oh, this is really bad language to be using at this time in the morning. Love the snake moving on the road. Thanks very much. Everyone loves the snake. I've noticed the snake's making everyone's like, oh my goodness, the snake. Well, lots of implications from yon logo there, isn't there? Hey, take turns in your interview for your rocket stream. Hey, look, I haven't said any of these things. I'm definitely going to get in trouble if I don't watch it. Right, I'm watching it. I'm being very responsible. Anyone who ever watches this and wants to review whether or not I've been responsible or not, I've been really, really fucking responsible, all right? Right? Don't make the mistake of misjudging me or judging me at all, right? Who you? Anyway, right, so 95.23, right? That's down 5% already. Tradespotting. 15-minute time frame, what does it look like? There's a gap, my lord. There's a gap. Oh my gosh, oh my golly. Oh my golly, oh my golly, oh my gosh, right, you're back at a level of support within this previous, like, and Tradespotting is the best lines, and look, NYSE data as well. Woo! You got the NYSE data. Can you even see that on the screen? You can't, because of it. But this is NYSE data. Woo! Yeah, he's not a scaff anymore. Woo! Thank goodness. I watched YouTube and I watched this guy Tradespotting, and he's now no longer a scaff anymore. Thank goodness, that was better. Right, so you got to find support here. If you do, fantastic. You're below 200 period moving average 50-minute time frame. That's not fantastic. This level, previous low at 78 and change, there's that. That's also not fantastic. Why did we have this reaction? This is because everything's screwed. No, you knocked out the bullish control zone. You hold the center line 50% in there on RSI. That's not terrible. Your MACD, you're getting across and you're below the 200 period moving average, as we say, like price action gap below and all that. Not a valid trade if you ask me. Your ADX at this stage, interested in everything meeting together for a little snog. Or is that like the Grecian urn, they won't make it? Anyway, interesting, right? You could see a number of different things evolve from that situation. Great to see something interesting happen there. 30-minute time frame. Where's the link to Rocky's show? Rocky didn't do it. Now he's away. Oh my god. And so the resistance here, $110. Didn't make it there again on this most recent thrust up there. I don't know, right? People would do this. I don't know put any validity in that, but right, people might do that. Ugh. And there's your 50 simple. Hold that. Fantastic on the 30-minute time frame. Still getting sell signals though. Still getting the sell signals. 1 hour time frame. Give me the information. Okay, that's like gone out of its way to give you a sell signal. This is like about to give you all the confirmation in the world. Come on, turn around, Jamie. 4 hour time frame. I know this is less educational to you, but like, hey, did that earlier and that, and it's fantastic, and it's GameStop, right? I do it from the goodness of my heart anyway. So here's the above the, well, for the change the fucking world, right? Which so is it good? I don't know. I'm pretty pissed off with how the world is at the minute, so I don't know, right? But anyway, here's the moving average and price, and the RSI itself moving out of the bearish control zone, which is fantastic. You needed price action to push higher because RSI is quite strong, but price action hasn't challenged previous highs, and therefore you've got continuation divergence, and it speaks to price action going to like support here, which was this circle we drew before in this downward sloping line within this overall formation, rather than this little one in this potential channel that we were looking at here. I mean, there's different ways of doing it, and we said, like, you can change it all the time. GME data looks beautiful. Cookie, I should put you under strict orders not to donate until your prizes arrive there. Kitty's never dead. Can't say I have, should I? What are we talking about here? Royal Farms time. What the hell's that? These Royal Farms. They get these Royal Farms. What are they all about? Highland clearances. Mind the gap. Mind that gap. It should be shootless scary. Are we talking about fluming again? Where's this like rave happening? It's happening over at Rocky's place. Oh my god, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so good. In the meantime, do you want to see my face big in there? Look, here's my big face. Wow, look at his big face. Isn't that crazy? Now I can get up Rocky's thing here. Do all this admin stuff in the background. Ugh, what's all that? Arg, I'm not signed into YouTube. How's that? I'm broadcasting live on YouTube. What do you like, by the way? Honestly, YouTube, you need to sort it out. Rocky! Outcrop. He the man. There he is, live now as well. Volatility returns. That sounds exciting. The advert skipped. See the advert? I didn't skip the advert. It skipped itself. That's weird. Right, and I don't have any ad blocking thing on or whatever, so that's weird. Right, so I'm being screwed by something, somehow, somewhere. You didn't see that because you weren't even watching. Oh my god. Right, here we go. Paste. That. Right, get ready, folks. This is a like rave. Pin message. This is amazing. Things are going amazing. So, folks, and what was it again? Get over there, folks. What is this crap? Right, this'll do. We're going to have to quickly go over it quickly. Oh my god, I'm not even logged into the chat. This is so awful. This is so awful. Oh my god, folks, you're going to have to do it for me. I'm not even logged into the chat. You better be liking this stuff. You don't have to sign in to like it. Why are you making me sign in? Oh my god. Oh my god, right. That rave was very, very quick. You better hurry up. Right, right, that was this bit of it. That was great. Skip to the end of the rave. Wow, we had such a great time. Oh my god, this is the best party I've ever been at. This is incredible. I'm going to grow up. When I grow up, I'm going to be a raver. That was fantastic. Right, we had a brilliant time over there. I hope you're chatting on Rocky's stream because I can't chat because I'm not signed in. Ugh, brutal. The brutality of it all. I can also probably sign in a different browser in the meantime, though. Hey, Tradespotting, you can. Anyway, right, you guys have to do it. It's your job. I did my job. Are we back here? You guys better not be. You better be over there. 30 likes. That's good to see. 27 watching. That's nearly twice as many as it was. Great to see. Right, so GME price action today. It started off a little bit negative. I suspect that the reason for that is spies at this resistance and inflection point. We've been talking about that for a while. We'll see what goes on. It's down 1.17 today. There's a gap on GME on the small time frames. And it's 5. Had your wick previously. That if I turn this off or hide it a little bit, you can see this was a positive candle, right? So here was the close up at 408, and then here is the open down at 403. So, right. So what does that mean, right? There was a wick here below on the previous day's price action. So price action was in at these prices yesterday. But between where price action closed and lots of orders subsequently would be in around these regions, right? And then the open, where there was zero trade in subsequent to this price and this price, there was zero trade in this zone, right? What does that mean, right? What does that mean? Right, I can draw it out for you. Look. It means there's been a bad murder, look. And again, it's the same thing. Gigantus legacis. Somebody poisoned this guy with Gigantus legacis, and then it swole up with all of his everything, and the rest of them died. And that's it. The poor guy's dead, and nobody even understands what that is and means. So how are we going to catch them? Probably impossible. VIX. This has picked up volatility. Hit the 200 period moving average. This is all within the candle of the previous 4 hours. Not desperately amazing. You've come up and like there's a little bit of a gap there. Not that I care too much about gaps on VIX, but there it's filled it, and then up at 40, 27 spot 51. Would you expect extensions beyond there? Well, I mean, this was a divergent high price action, then lost to 236, came back down 50%, got a reaction, body closed there, golden pockets just below at 24. right? It could drop, but it wouldn't do it on the same day that SPY's making inordinately large moves, would it? And so far, opening with a gap, going a percentage chunk already, and looking at Giganticus, Legatus, Purus, Chapasis, right? Doesn't inspire me with confidence. Terrible, terrible murder. Nobody likes dried banana. Some people do like a dried banana. Some people do. Is like people who like crisps, for example, but don't want the calories, will often spend time eating things like dried fruit, things like dried bananas and that. You know, get low calorie things like this as well. The ones with sugar on them, they're quite nice. Some people like dried apricots, you know, but then I suspect that there's reasons for that other than just the taste. Anywho, right, so in and around this formation, right, more of that same. You'll also be familiar with that from the Zuma over here, where we have this downward sloping formation inside the general speaking downward sloping formation. This 236, you peeked your head above it, but we didn't manage to stay there. Now we're below it at 95.02, 5.34% on the day, a little bit of recovery from the lowest at 94. Some people will find that dramatic, I suspect, and this is what it is, right? It happens all the time, and I feel increasingly disconnected from the general GME, like daily chat where people have when they say things like, oh my God, look what's happening. You know, this is going to happen. We went up this percent, and oh my God, look, the short interest is like this. Oh my God. And it's like, no offense, everybody who's not watching this channel, no offense, but come on to fuck, right? So many times you've been saying all that shit, and so many times I've said, no, this is the real story. This is it over here. This is the real story. And we've all been proved. It's all been proved now. So it's not debatable any longer, right? I mean, you were an idiot debating in the first instance, but it's not debatable anymore. AMC was up for a second on the day there. Right? That's like, it's difficult to argue with the fact is it was up for a second there. It's above the 236 on this breakdown Fibonacci, and then it's aiming for a golden pocket, which is up 50 simple up there, which is, you know, right ahead of reaching the 200. You're not asking for anything desperately crazy. The top side of this formation is significantly further away than it is percentage-wise on the GME move. So, like, you know, coming to a basis line test within it might not be all that insane. And then maybe that would be somewhere around this, but that'd be crazy if it did that counter to the GME trend. That'd send people going absolutely mental, and as such, I don't expect it to happen. I think GME is what drives the market anyway, and that's probably a freaking dodgy situation to be in. Like, the nature of that candle and is driven by what happened with GME on the daily candle yesterday, pushing above its 236, and that lends its enthusiasm to this thing, which isn't leading the market, which I think will become true over the next few hours. And then GME lost those important levels, and AMC's yet to filter through that same situation. Down here, golden pocket retracement at 11.14. Is that what you would expect? Have we already had that? We've not. So this needs to get back above, well, I mean, it needs to get back above $16, or else it's like the negative downtrend likely continues. We take this line across the top, and we've got this part of this formation, take it from these previous peaks, that likely meets that sort of level of resistance. Should it go any further, GME down 5%, I think this leads the overall market, and as such, I don't think AMC is going to break above critical levels right now. But there is a departure coming up in these two charts, because AMC, of course, isn't having a stock split. Right, it isn't. There's going to be big differences on the charts. Juicy dried sounds like an oxymoronic witchcraft. Juicy dried. Yeah, what's that all about? What are they juicy with? I guess you never had a Trader Joe's juicy dried mango. Trader Joe. Hi, Coco. Do you want to stand on the keyboard, or do you want to go for a walk somewhere else today? No predictions on price action from Coco today. Can't force her in it. Oh, you'll have a wee lack right down there. Coco. So, rubbery, very wobbly. What was I thinking there? It was super interesting. It was Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous to Nation 690. Thanks very much. And we covered things, and we did stuff, and it was interesting. GME, 5%, 95.37. I mean, if GME goes up, great. I just like, great. Full stop. Ricey, not done much there since we looked at you earlier, but then you don't like to do things all that fast, do you? Because you're very, very, very much like, oh, well, are we sure? Okay then. Right? It's like, Anyway, it's got like some sort of thermos flask around price action. Boom! Hey, I just turned it on and it just did that. Do you think it's because it likes the sound of my voice? That's like when you pick up a baby and it starts like, it's really interested when it hears one person's voice. It's me. I have the power. My Lord Tradespotting, when banana go yeah, right now. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Shout out to Ben there. So Rice has been magic, right? So 1.07, this is a negative candle there, 15-minute time frame, but as you can see, it opened back above any previous candles highs within this downward sloping formation. It's like, yeah, come back and fill the gap and then go mental. Oh, mental. So somebody bought it there. I don't think that was a fat-fingered buy. There's so much of this stuff available that you would have to be making a big chunk of. Anyway, this is interesting. Right, let's take that to the daily time frame. See this prediction, right? This is a 236 here. Is that what we just managed to hit right there? Oh my God. Tradespotting's lines are insane. So, yeah, you start opening above that 110, 111, you'll hit 130 or so. Call it 120 if you want. Call it what you like, right? Yeah. Hey. So everything's brilliant again, despite the bastards that run the world, because we've got a little bit of a handle on things. And here is the doji in the middle of the previous body candle, so we'll see what that means as the price action evolves. I mean, there's not going to get much from that daily candle yet. 4 hour undecision above the exponential, a little bit of context. RSI pushing to the top side below the center line, not brilliant. Crossing the MACD, but you're below the 200 period moving average. You've got a death cross coming in here, and a 4 hour, and price action could come back up and meet this level of resistance. It's already got some sort of diagonal on the go there. I mean, broke above that, tested it at this level, maybe you do go back up. That broke quite below the previous level of support, so having recovered, you know, maybe you are aiming for these levels back up at 112. That'd be exciting, but today says no, not very likely. 2 hour rolling over there. I'd have information for you. Right, you do. There's a flash at 135.6. That would be interesting if we got there. It would be breaking this formation, and it would be breaking the most recent high within it. So that's one oscillation. In terms of the measured move from within this section of this formation, you break out of it, that would be where you'd be expecting to go. It's also this golden pocket up around here. It's that zone. It's that zone, folks. So if you break this zone, right, I can just do these. I don't like drawing these boxes. I really don't like them full stop, but anyway, there we have it. Get over here, mate. Arg, now it's going to do everything to annoy me. It can, because I said I didn't like it. I should have just kept my mouth shut until I got the deal done. Anyway, here we have it, right? So there's another zone, and it would be in around that flash, topside to golden pocket, and then we'll make it that just so it's a different color. Anywho, so that's what we're looking at there, and it doesn't need to be so. So that's it, right? You're looking. You get through here, you'll slow down there. Tesla down 2% There's your 236. I did a DM about this one. I was saying yesterday. I was like, went through time frames. And I was like, this is all shit. This is all shit. And somebody's like, yeah, but it looks good on the 15-minute and whatever. And it didn't. I mean, maybe it did for a trade from like here to here, right? But it didn't look good, and it's back below that price. So I'm right, you're wrong. Anyway, that wasn't chat. We were having a good conversation. Bitcoin, what are you doing? Still struggling. Struggle street. There are your 50-minute candles. Say rolling over, and another one says roll over, and the 50 simple goes on going through 200 per move and average, and RSI says, and I'm rolling over into below the zero, and I'm rolling over. And if you've been on a Rocky Outcrops channel yet, 25 watching, 35 likes. I can't like, so I'm not signed in. I'm going to go and sign in and watch Rocky Outcrops show, because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on it, because I know that it's good, and frankly, you should have more viewers than I do. So I'm not stupid enough. Look at that. That's winning to miss out on this. Right, so I'm going to go watch Rocky. And I've covered GME. Did good job there. We did a little bit of look at other things, didn't we? And what did we want to look at? We did try to rip around the market. So we said, like, what SPY was up to. There's the gap. We talked about that. Implications for what it means across the market. VIX. There you've got that volatility push to the top side there. 27. Is that... Did we already talk about that, or did we say it was going there? One of the two. Anyway, fill the gap, but on the 15-minute time frame, you've got one below. Don't care about gaps on VIX. That's not the point. Tesla, just after talking about that, don't. It's aspiring. Bitcoin, we covered it. It's lost resistance. Short-term time frame is pushing in lower lows than here previously. It's lower high than this stage. You can't really say this is a definitively an uptrend, and the RSI below center line not too fantastic. And then we got the futures data. Oh my God, up to the second live data from all the institutions that trade Bitcoin on CMEs. Oh my God. Sorry, bait buckets. Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Still long on GME? Christopher Lauria. 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 Christopher. How are you doing, Christopher? Yeah, well, I mean, my head's still attached to my body and stuff like that, innit, Christopher? So, aye. Sorry, Big Buckets. Thanks. You're welcome. No worries. What are we saying thanks for? You're welcome. Oh, yeah. Some more of this. Wow, what a great day it's been. That was like 3 banana yas or something. This is incredible. What does that mean? The stuff's getting better, son. Things are getting better, right? Getting better all the time. Dun, dun, boom, boom. Right, I feel a song coming on. So that's great news. What a great day it is. What else has been happening? Not very much. Not very much has been happening. We played that song because it was a like rave. That was fantastic. No, you're welcome. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, yeah, we did things. It was fantastic. Then we covered SPY VIX. That was good. Honestly, it was, right? So we went through the markets. We talked about it before they opened, what we'd likely see in terms of what were the things that drive the market? What were the charts to rule them all? In a minute, it's SPY and what's it up to. You can look at DJI and whatnot. There's big moves there. Certain defensive stocks getting a lot of interest over the last few days. But there's trends ending there, and SPY is the one to look to. And we spoke about how the range of its movements would likely be dictated a little bit by VIX. And we gave you really good insights there, even if we didn't like delineate from the funny part of the show and say, hey, look, this is the dead interesting thing that's going to really change your trading. It was kind of obvious there. And then we moved on to talk about those things such as this bad merger not going to be solved for a while, it looks. And then we went on to talk about such things as GME, Tesla, and AMC, which, you know, are all moving like much of a muchness. They've got similar formations on the go, especially GME and AMC, and there will be departures between all those sort of things coming up over the next wee while. And we talked about them. We touched on Royce. We looked a little bit about the DMI indicator, how it's constructed, and what certain divergences, departures from parallel lines and parallel directions mean. What would we call it? We could call it divergence. It's just not in the typical trading sense of the word. But when those two ADX and DI, or the DI positive and the DI minus, go strange and compared to the ADX, what that might mean. We talked about Bitcoin, looked at the futures data, said that it managed to drop below support there. So that might be that we see continuation then in this risk rotation until such times as things hit lower levels on SPY. I'm not really big into like earnings per share, as you might have noticed and whatnot. It doesn't drive my trading by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that people look at SPY and they work out like the average earnings per share across the board, and then they have like aggregate figures that they like to say, well, you know, things are overheating, and they're not. And then they might think, you know, well, my name's Michael Burry and I did this one thing one time so I can point out this dead obvious dynamic on Twitter and get freaking loads of attention from people because he's so sucking up attention. He doesn't know what to do with it because he's not trying to help people. He's trying to make himself better known, but he doesn't like fame because of his atypical neurology or whatever. Right now, sympathetic there, right? But at the same time, I've got similar things. And so, you know, in my particular one, right, one of the symptoms is I don't give a fuck about his and any of his shite either. And anyone else who comes up with their bollocks, right? They're not actually trying to help anyone. It's just bollocks. It's just bollocks. Like, because they're trying to prove the might of their own existence. And it's so annoying, right? They should try to help people, which is what we're doing. And we did a really good job of it today, as we do most days. And I'm proud of this channel and what we've been doing. And I think it's fucking awesome. And the reason I am is because of all you chaps there and ladies and gentlemen in chat box. Yo, Sean Jake. Yo, Cookie. Yo, Bait Buckets. Observe Thyself. Sarah Rera. Kieran. Yo, Kieran. Cobalt Mystic. How you doing? Lady Kim. How are you? Deaf Banana Freeze Legend. Christopher. How are you doing? Good to see you. Bait Buckets. Sean Jake. Kieran Ghost. Sarah Rera. Stephen K. Yo, Legend. How you doing? Buckets never die. How are you all? Everybody there. Think of great buckets. Little Baker Matthews, great to see you. It's a grocery store. Yeah, Trader Joe's. What's it like, hey? It's like, not like I'm out here saying like JME's cabbages. I'm like, JME's cabbages. Like, get in your lane, Trader Joe, right? Squishy, dry, observe thyself. Rubbery, very wobbly. Personal opinion, don't flog me. Personal opinion, don't flog me. What are we talking about there? Previous chart anyhow. Bearish divergence on that chart. No flogging. That's great, right? That's great. It's great. So I sent some sacrifices coming on. Maybe that's tomorrow. What a rave it was. It was amazing. You're peaking too. Oh my goodness. Calm down, Corey. Somebody take Corey to the booths. One of the last undisturbed areas in the north. The north! Tradespotting. When Banana go, yeah. I'm way back in the chat now. So we did it all. And there's Lakeside Trader as well. Great to see you, everyone. Amazing show today, my lord. Thanks. We covered lots of things, didn't we? Lots of little things. Talked about things. Here's RSI on this. Spy. Dramatic. Dramatic. You lost the center line. This is negative. Speaks to negativity within this formation. Doesn't look very, to see a gap here. Rejection from the top side of resistance. Across there, heading towards the 200 period moving average. You can't necessarily expect more on it than that. But here, when you go to 30-minute time frame, and it gives you the information, you can see you're below the 200 period moving average. You had the rejection. At the same time, you had a rejection from the bullish control zone across on the MACD from the right side of the trend below the 200 period moving average above the center line on the RSI as it happened, and above the center line on the MACD. Sheesh. Bing bong, 9 months. Chimp, whoa. Mr. Homer the Gentleman, thank you very much. Great to see you. You see that message, there's like, I don't have it now on my box, but then I can't, because it's my show, so I can't pay myself. But you go down there and there's like a dollar sign, and if you're a member, you click it, comes up and you can send a super chat, or else sometimes get once a month you can send a message with a green box around it, and I always see it, and you can see what you want, and everybody will have to see it, and you can see it, and you have to make them read it. This is a member's privilege. Oh, look, it's down at 401.18. 400. It's lost the 200 period moving average on that previous time line. It's heading for the 50 simple. This is what you expect. This is interesting, right? Head over to Rocky. Head over to Rocky's chat box. Copy this, paste it there. This is volatile. Interesting things might be about to happen. Get to that show. That's where it's at. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Thanks for tuning in every day. If your money posted a damn Jackie meme, and now I'm wondering if there's damn Jackie, I can't control the weather remix in existence, so we're not, and should I make one? Oh my goodness. What a busy lady you are, Sarah. Right, let's get over and hit that like button on Rocky's stream. I'm going to get over there, and if it's not more likes by then, I'm going to go mental. Right, okay. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You can hit the like button on my stream if you want, right? That's great. Did I get anyone that did that? What happened on that front as it happens? What did we get on the like fronts? Hi, Coco. Wow, that is a big yap you're making there, isn't it? Oh, I've got my screen up with the fish. I had the fish, you get that screen up with like goldfish for cats, like hours and hours of it. I put it on for Coco thinking that Coco would be like, nah, this is below me, and look at me like I was an idiot. But Coco went mad for it, like hitting the monitor and stuff, and I was like, well, it's worth it if you're having fun. So that's up there. You can see it yourselves if you're like, is this there? Look, these fish. They're funny. Anyway, right, simple pleasures. Let's go over to Rocky Show. Thanks very much, everybody. Where do I hit the M button? Is that what my problem is? I don't know where it is. Right. Both of those logos moving around on screen at the same time. Wow. Thank you, Mighty Red. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Hit the like button.